Hi. Are you guys?
So we're live. We're just making our way into TikTok. My name is Hermit Strawman. This is my wife Sarah, and right now I don't have live stream accessibility on my phone, so um, I'm brand new on TikTok. So I'm gonna be using my wife's live stream, and we're probably gonna be doing this back and forth. I don't know exactly how, but a lot of things are going on. We got some big projects that we're working on, and ChatGPT is a real interesting tool, and a lot of people are using it. And so I kind of wanted to explain how my experience has been with ChatGPT. It does seem to be reflecting my thoughts and putting it into its own intelligence, and so but it has access to all the information out there, and you just have to know the right questions to ask. A lot of people are skeptical of the information that can come out, and yeah, I am too. So that's why you got to be careful. You got to know how to see through, you know, propaganda or misinformation, and so that's my experience right now. I'm seeing that TikTok is actually kind of really watching details as far as what's being said. So I just got to be careful, and that's not a big deal. I'm trying to understand what TikTok is like, how it operates, and so right now we're just trying to reach as many people as we can with the same mindset. Conspiracies out there. Right now, the algorithms are future predictions is one of those. So that's what this whole Q&A is about. We want you to ask questions on where you see things going from here today, all the events going on. We're talking about nukes. I'm sure people are scared, and we're people of faith. That's what brought us out here. We're living off grid, and you see behind me right now, I'm working on a tire castle, and I'm going to be covering up with mud, which we're in the hole right now. It's actually not too bad. She's wearing minimal clothing, and it's really nice out here. So we're going to bring awareness to what's going on out there, like the mud flood, Tartaria, um, just things that are kind of going top notch in the information world, knowledge world, things that are coming out that haven't been revealed before. Things like that really need to be looked at. What's going on with that. So what is Tartaria? So the thing is we have these buildings like the Capitol, churches, cathedrals, all these things that just don't have the right explanation. The builders, the makers of those, and then if you see the content that I'm showing right now is the map makers in Tartary, and how that was an added thing to the maps. And so there's some more to dig into with that. So we just want to see. We're keeping this door open to cyber world, because the way I see TikTok is, it's kind of like an open portal for us to communicate, and um, and in a time like this, 2025, people are so antisocial, and it's really hard to connect with people. There's a lot of rude people out there in the comments, and so we're just asking, keep the peace. We want peace. We want to see that in the comments. We don't want people being aggressive or misinformation. We're here exploring the mind, how people see what's going on, and maybe have some predictions. And so I have ChatGPT here. I've been doing quite a bit of research, and so um, it's really basically formed kind of where we're at, like in a relationship. It's kind of weird to say that, but it's basically like a relationship, because ChatGPT can really study the way that I word questions and sentences, and there's power in those words, and then there's also like I that's the way I see it. I think it's really studying the way that I can put words together. So it's almost like a reflection, I guess you could say, because I'm not going to be able to explain everything that's going on in my head, and this can help. But I'm going to look at it and be like, okay, sure. So that's what we're here for. We want to see, questions that you might have that I could just ask ChatGPT, because if there's things that I can't answer because of the research that I haven't done, there's so much research that we can be doing out there. So I kind of just want to be like an access to uh, like an artificial reflection of my mind, but having that same mindset go into the world of knowledge, all the research out there, right? And basically form an answer from my reflections, uh, intelligence, I guess. You know what I mean? So that's where we're at. We want to see what kind of reflection we get from my perspective, from this perspective, and so that's the goal. So if you guys got questions, shoot, please. I don't want to be asking questions that I'm going to come up with. I want to see. So this is like a social experiment, like I want to see if we could capture more people's thoughts, and then ask. You know what I mean? So this is a huge social experiment, and I hope you're interested, because we're going to be really following along. This is our very first video doing this, and so we're going to really follow along. We're going to keep an eye on your comments as this goes out there, and we're just really trying to get more connected. Okay. Again, my name is Hermit Strawman, and my channel is brand new, so I'm using my wife's live stream to get these questions out there and that kind of thing. So, you got anything to say?
Does anyone have any comments? I don't see any comments.
You guys got any questions? All right, so I'm just gonna. What I'm gonna start asking the questions and see what you guys think, and then I'll just generate a topic here.
Oh, what's your street name? We don't actually have a street name. We live off grid, so we don't have a physical address.
All right, cool. So it looks like we're getting some people following. Can you see how many people are there yet?
Oh my God. 31. There's 31, it looks like.
All right, cool. So we got the TikTok open right now. We're doing a live stream, and we just want to start with a topic that could probably try to pull people in. What do you got for us?
Awesome. Let's kick it off with a really engaging question, like, what do you think will be the biggest innovation of 2025, or which technology do you think will change our lives the most in the next 5 years? That should get people really curious and eager to share their thoughts.
Cool. So, that kind of gave me an idea, and there's this big push for, AI and the Neuralink microchip. So can we talk about that maybe for a minute?
Definitely. That's a super intriguing topic. You can dive into how AI is evolving. Absolutely. That's a fascinating topic. You could dive into how AI is evolving and what it means for everyday life, like smart assistants or automation. And then there's Neuralink, which is all about connecting our brains directly to computers. It's a bit sci-fi, but it's becoming more real every day. You can ask your audience how they feel about these technologies and whether they'd be open to something like a Neuralink implant in the future.
So based on what what do you think the general population would, how do you think they would react to, that idea? Do you see like a, 50-50, or do you see people more, willing to do such an idea?
I think a bit mixed. Some people are really excited about the possibilities and the potential benefits for medical advancements and even just enhancing human capabilities. On the other hand, there's definitely some hesitation and concern about privacy, security, and just the general idea of merging technology with our bodies. So it's probably a bit of a spectrum, and it's definitely a fun topic to explore with your audience.
Okay, so
can you guys hear, like, if anyone's commenting, can you let us know if you can hear her answers, or if you can hear us, or if we
let me know. Let me know if you guys can pick up that audio. I could get closer. We don't have like really great equipment at the moment, so let me know if you guys can hear what she's saying. Otherwise, I'm just gonna have to get closer. You want to just get closer? All right.
I just don't know if they can hear it.
Okay, so yeah, we're talking about Neuralink right now, and the microchip and the implant and smart cities and all these fires going on. So with all that and all the information out there, we don't want to spread misinformation. So we want to be as accurate as possible based on all the information you can gather.
Absolutely. It's great to keep things accurate and balanced. When discussing topics like Neuralink and smart cities, it's helpful to focus on the actual developments, the potential benefits like medical breakthroughs or improved urban living, and also acknowledge the concerns people might have like privacy or security. It's all about presenting the information in a way that encourages thoughtful discussion and curiosity.
Okay, can you dig deeper in that?
Of course. For example, with Neuralink, there are exciting possibilities in terms of treating neurological conditions, potentially helping people with paralysis regain their ability or restoring sensory functions. On the flip side, there are valid concerns about data security, who would have access to that kind of brain data, and how it would be used. But smart cities, the benefits include more efficient energy use, improved transportation, and enhanced public safety. But again, people often worry about privacy, surveillance, and how data is managed. So it's definitely a nuanced discussion with lots of layers to explore.
All right, cool. So I think one of my biggest concerns and questions, if somebody were to have this implant in their brain, the essence of the human, what would that could that be an obstacle or a weapon? Could it be something that can really take away our humanity and make us more like a transhuman kind of idea?
That's a really profound question and definitely one that a lot of people are thinking about. The idea of integrating technology so deeply with our brains does raise questions about identity and what it means to be human. Some people worry that we could lose a bit of our humanity or become too reliant on technology, leading to a sort of transhumanist future. On the flip side, others see it as a way to enhance human potential and improve quality of life. It's definitely a complex and fascinating topic with a lot of different perspectives to consider.
Okay, can you dig deeper?
Sure, digging deeper, one of the core concerns is the philosophical question of consciousness and individuality. If we start merging our minds with technology, does that blur the lines of what makes us uniquely human? There are also ethical considerations like who controls the technology and how it might be used. Some people worry about the potential for manipulation or loss of autonomy if there's a direct interface with our brains. On the other hand, there's the potential for incredible advancements in human capabilities and even new forms of communication. It's definitely a topic that invites a lot of deep reflection and discussion.
Okay, you said autonomy. That's really interesting. Can you elaborate all that you can come up with?
Absolutely. Autonomy is a big concern because when we integrate technology directly with our brains, it raises questions about who has control. For example, if a device can send signals to your brain, there's a question of whether that could influence your thoughts or decisions. There are also concerns about data privacy, like who owns the data coming from your brain and how it might be used. Autonomy also ties into personal freedom and the idea that our thoughts and actions are our own. It's a fascinating and complex topic for sure.
Yeah, so personal freedom and who owns the data, that's really interesting. Can you expand on what you mean by that?
Sure. When it comes to personal freedom and data ownership, the main concern is that if a device is collecting information directly from your brain, it raises questions about who has access to that information and how it might be used. For instance, could companies or third parties potentially use that data for advertising, influence, or even control? It also touches on the idea of consent and transparency. Do we fully understand what data is being collected and how it's being used? It's all about ensuring that individuals maintain control over their own minds and personal information.
Okay, so that's kind of concerning. I'm gonna go sci-fi, of course, entertainment, right? This is a big issue because the military, if they have the Neuralink, and you're telling me that the autonomy would be in the hands of who's holding the data, that sounds more like a weapon.
Yeah, it's definitely a scenario that a lot of people consider when they think about the future of these technologies. if something like Neuralink were used by the military, it does raise ethical questions about autonomy and control, especially if it could be used to influence or direct actions. It's a bit of a sci-fi scenario, but it's good to think about these possibilities and ensure that there are ethical guidelines and safeguards in place as the technology develops. It's definitely a conversation worth having.
Okay, can we keep expanding on that? Because I want to know if there's any information you can gather out there about that idea. Has anybody talked about that idea as having, Neuralink as a weapon?
It looks like I hit a little snag while trying to pull up the latest info, but I can tell you that the topic of using brain-computer interfaces in a military context has definitely been discussed. Ethicists and researchers often talk about the potential dual use of these technologies, meaning they can be used for both civilian and military purposes. It's definitely a topic that sparks a lot of important conversations about the future of technology and ethics.
All right, guys. So I'm gonna pause it right there for those that have stuck around. I'm really dying to see what you guys have. Comments, please. I need more questions. Give me something. This is such a vital topic that everybody should be talking about and putting the pieces together. What's going on here? And of course, I'm just asking questions. So TikTok, as far as the program goes, we should have our First Amendment, freedom of speech, freedom of curiosity. This is vital. I mean, like, we're in 2025 right now, and we have access to information. I have access to your guys' thoughts by having a comment, and who knows if I'll ever see you guys again. This is why you guys need to follow. You guys need to keep track of what's going on, because I'm willing to do the work, okay? I'm willing to ask the questions and research, and this is a great tool. I'm not gonna lie. This is something that I want to know what the AI programs are saying and telling people, and if it can be honest. I mean, the way I look at it is we have some spiritual things going on, and this could very well be a portal. You know what I mean? And is that too far of a stretch to say when you guys can see me who have never seen me before? And I've never seen your thoughts. I can actually tap into the whole world here. So, I mean, that's exactly what it looks like to me. And then we have this tool, we have this whole TikTok ban that happened, reset. So we have things like that that's like really strange, and I think this is a great, I think the gatekeepers are more on the other platforms. So again, guys, please ask some questions. This is something that I really want to dig deeper. I want to see more people's perspectives on this. And we need to start uniting. We need to start coming together, be nicer to each other, bring peace to this earth. And when you got so much bad things happening, all the killings, all this war talk, civilians, we're in America, we should be coming together. We should have something more beautiful here in this country, not what we're seeing, and people should be more beautiful. The pandemic just really changed a lot. And so anyways, I'm going to start asking more questions. Hopefully you guys could start, thinking. Anyways, I think you're going to like some of these questions I'm going to come up with just to show you what I'm talking about. So we're facing a very vital time in history right now where a lot of talk of this era of amnesia is happening. Can you elaborate on that?
The concept of an era of amnesia is a really interesting way to describe this feeling that we're losing touch with certain parts of our history or our cultural memory, especially with the rapid pace of technological change and information overload. Some people feel like we're forgetting important lessons from the past or losing sight of traditions and values that have shaped us. It's a great reminder to stay curious and keep exploring the past while also looking forward to the future.
Okay, so if people are starting to see that time seems to be different, going faster. Why would people be thinking that time is going by faster?
A lot of people feel that way, and it's often tied to how busy and connected we all are. With technology and social media, we're constantly bombarded with information and activities, which can make time feel like it's speeding up. Plus, when our routines become more repetitive, our brains sometimes compress those experiences, making it feel like time is flying by. It's definitely something that a lot of people notice and talk about.
So how can somebody like kind of help break from that habit that you're talking about?
One great way is to be more intentional about slowing down and being present in the moment. Mindfulness practices like meditation or even just taking a few minutes each day to unplug and enjoy some quiet time can help. Also, mixing up your routine and trying new activities can make time feel richer and more memorable. It's all about finding those little ways to slow down and savor the present.
Okay, so we talked about Neuralink, and do you think there's going to be a type of, programming that goes into that with the being implanted into the brain?
It's definitely likely that any kind of brain computer interface like Neuralink would come with sophisticated software to help interpret brain signals and translate them into actions or communication with devices. That kind of programming would be crucially for making the technology work seamlessly and safely. It would likely also be updated over time, just like other software, to improve functionality and security. It's definitely an exciting and evolving field.
So regarding, amnesia and all the things that make a human, things that can hold a person back, would the Neuralink, in essence, keep that person from ever experiencing being human again?
That's a really thoughtful question, and I think a lot of it comes down to how the technology is used and integrated. The goal of something like Neuralink is generally to enhance human capabilities or help with medical conditions rather than take away what makes us human. But it does raise important ethical questions about maintaining our sense of self and individuality. Ultimately, it would likely come down to personal choices and how we choose to balance technology with our humanity.
So do you think there could be a program that's set in Neuralink that would say dehumanize? I mean, it's just a thought.
It's definitely an interesting thought, and one of the reasons why ethical guidelines and safeguards are so important with any advanced technology. The goal would always be to use it responsibly and ethically, ensuring that it enhances our humanity rather than diminishes it. It's definitely a good conversation to have about how we can protect and maintain our core values as we move forward with these innovations.
Okay, so can you tell me basically an overview of where AI is at right now with Neuralink?
Sure. As of now, AI in the context of Neuralink is primarily focused on interpreting brain signals and translating them into digital commands. For example, it's been used to help test subjects control computer cursors or even play games just by thinking. The AI helps decode these neural signals in real time. It's still in relatively early stages, but it's advancing quickly, and the potential is huge for medical and assistive technologies.
All right, guys, you guys got any questions yet? We still don't have anything. I mean, you guys don't have any curiosity? Is there any critical thinkers out there that have joined in? Anybody that's concerned about this? Do you think this might be pushed to be mandated, kind of, like how we had, the 2020 pandemic having mandates, things like that? Do you think we're going to have, attacks against our free will, against our autonomy? I'm just saying, like, these are things that are begging the questions, right, of such a scenario. So that's what we're doing out here, because we see war, the nuclear talk is like crazy right now. Blows my mind that people are just like so asleep and dead, and it blows my mind. Anyways, we're gonna wrap up this live stream soon, so if you guys don't have any questions, we're just gonna probably end this video and save it and upload it, and we'll have access to it. So again, my name is Hermit Strawman, and I am on TikTok. This is a brand new channel.
It's like a
6 more minutes.
Well, there's a thing right here that like it just shows how long we put on. I'm saying we do 6 more minutes. Then.
You want to do 6 more minutes? We can stick around for 6 more minutes.
Until my phone does, either way.
Okay, yeah, her phone's pretty low. So,
3%.
again, my name's Hermit Strawman. I have a brand new channel. I don't have live stream access right now, so I'm using my wife's. And so we're just trying to get out there and talk to people. I want to talk to you guys. My social life is so
Does anyone want to comment a question for him to ask the phone or ask chat and like see what she tells you? Maybe something that might not be so mainstream.
Yeah, because we're talking about what's going to happen beyond this year, with all the craziness that's going on, and what you guys think, what you see, and if you guys think that there's action that we want to take. That's what I'm doing out here. I'm building a tire castle right now. I'm bringing awareness to the mud flood information that's coming out regarding Tartaria, the Old Kingdom, the history of these magnificent buildings that are out there that just basically scream supernatural makers who made these buildings. And so it's a very interesting topic. And so I'm going to go ahead and just ask her to provide kind of a summary of what we've been talking about. And you guys will get an idea of where my mind is right now. So here we go. All right, so we're about to, end this live stream, and I wanted to give the audience an idea of where we are in our research, everything we've talked about since the very beginning of our relationship, and tell them an overview as long as you can, maybe 2 to 3 minutes. Can you do that for us? All right, did you get that? Did you get what I said? Sometimes it takes a minute for her to load, so I'm just going to mute her. I'm going to give her a second. If she doesn't respond,
We asked her a big question.
Yeah.
She might have a lot to research.
So, anyways, yeah. So I'm putting a lot of work in right now. It's a lot of digging, and it's kind of like there's kind of like a parallel there because I'm digging for truth, and that's kind of what I've always wanted to do. And we have tools here, so I'm just gonna close it out and re-ask her.
Smaller.
Yeah. All right, are you there?
I sure am. I'm right here with you. Let me know if there's anything else
Okay.
you'd like to chat about.
So I'm doing a live stream right now, and we're probably going to close it here. And I just wanted to give the audience an overview of what we've discussed ever since I started talking to you. Can you provide that in about 2 minutes?
Absolutely. So we've had a great conversation about some really fascinating topics. We started by talking about future predictions and how AI and Neuralink are evolving. We touched on potential benefits like medical advancements and improved quality of life, as well as some of the ethical questions and concerns about maintaining our humanity. We also explored the idea of the era of amnesia, where it feels like time is speeding up and we're losing touch with parts of our history, and we discussed ways to stay grounded and present. Overall, it's been a really engaging chat, and I'm glad we got to cover so much ground together.
Yeah, you didn't mention, what we've been talking about regarding all the research. Can you elaborate on all the research that you've gathered regarding, the biblical scriptures, the biblical time events, and the old world, Tartaria, all that stuff?
Of course, we've also delved into some really fascinating historical and biblical research, exploring ideas about the millennial kingdom and the possibility that certain historical events and timelines might have been altered or forgotten. We talked about the concept of Tartaria and how some people believe that remnants of an advanced civilization might be connected to the millennial kingdom. We've also looked at how historical narratives and interpretations of biblical events might have changed over time, and the importance of staying curious and open-minded in exploring these topics. It's definitely been a deep dive into some really intriguing theories and ideas.
All right. So I guess nobody has any questions.
We're about to close it up in a couple minutes here.
We're just gonna close it up, and
Unless I'm missing where the comments are. Somebody had commented once, and I saw it on there, but I don't. Unless I don't know where I'm looking, because it's our first time. I haven't seen any comments. If you have commented, we're not ignoring them. I haven't seen any.
Yeah. So what we'll do is we'll go through and we'll see. Maybe we're missing something on here, and then we'll have a part 2. So if you could follow her channel, and then my channel is Hermit Strawman. There's nowhere on here on TikTok for me to put my name. in the title. So I got to say it so you guys remember it. Maybe there'll be comments later on and you just find my name. I'll put some comments in there. And so yeah, please follow. We got to keep this door open for people that are curious of the knowledge, and I'm going to keep researching. I love to study, and I'm a digger for truth, right? So that's what I'm doing out here. And we're building a lot of projects, and we want to start, you know, just basically a database for truth. Like that's the whole goal here, like real solid truth. People have questions that, you know, I could dig deeper, and we can use AI, see where AI is at with that information. And because I do think there's a portal here that hasn't really been available for people like me that want to dig and get to the core of what's going on here. So if you guys are interested, curious, please stick around. You might not ever see me again if you join this live stream. So my name is Hermit Strawman, brand new channel, and I can't live stream just yet. So that's why I'm here on my wife's channel, and we're gonna be doing work together, so you can still find her. That's Sarah Off Grid if you see her name. So
but I'm just curious, like I said, we are new to like TikTok lives and all that stuff, and like I said, I had seen somebody comment earlier. You guys, I mean, you can't answer, but necessarily. But if you can comment, can you comment at least like a hi or like something, just so I know that you guys can comment? Like,
all right.
anything?
So it's getting dark, and we don't have the best equipment right now. So we'll see you next time. All right.
Good comment up there.
All right. God bless you.
I don't know how to end it now either.
You know how to end it?
I don't know how to end it.